Meanwhile, Glen Beck is angering many of his own followers after announcing he will be traveling to the border with tractor trailers full of food, water, teddy bears, and soccer balls for undocumented children coming across the border. Here's what he said on the show yesterday.
This is a crisis, and anyone, left or right, seeking political gain at the expense of these desperate, vulnerable, poor, and suffering people are reprehensible. The fundamental transformation of America happens the minute you go cold inside. So, may I suggest we help the children? Through no fault of their own, they are caught in political crossfire. And while we continue to put pressure on Washington and change its course of lawlessness, we must also help. It is not an either-or. It is both. We have to be active in the political game, and we must open our heart.
Backlash from conservatives on Twitter and social media was swift. Beck admitted that he has never, quote, taken a position more deadly to my career than this. I'm surprised there's backlash to bringing toys to kids, Joe, but I guess that's what happens.
Well, a lot of people are saying that he's actually playing into Barack Obama's hands, that he's playing by Obama's handbook. He's actually playing by another person's handbook, Jesus's handbook. I mean, this is, you know, Jesus was very clear. He said, the people that are blessed are those that understand. I was hungry, and you fed me. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I needed clothing, and you gave me clothes. What Glen Beck is doing is the most Christ-like thing anybody could do. And so for a lot of people on the right who may call themselves Christians, to attack Glen Beck for doing exactly what Jesus says a Christian has to do, which is to be the Good Samaritan. I think the fact that he is sending down tractor trailer loads full of food and clothes and toys and soccer balls to these poor children, despite the fact he opposes the type of immigration reform the president's pushing right now, makes it an even more noble gesture. I mean, Harold Ford, I saw your political commercials. I know that you hung out in the church a lot in pews. You know,
but Joe,
it makes him like a good Samaritan for doing this, despite the fact he's on the other side on the political issue.
Salute him for doing it, but I think it also exposes a bit of hypocrisy on the side of those who claim that morality and that their faith and perhaps Christianity guides them in many ways, and yet one of their leaders in this movement, Glen Beck, I think not only takes a courageous stand, but the right stand about how to treat these children, and he garners and attracts criticism from those who proclaim or suggest that they believe in him because of his values, yet when he makes a decision based on those values, he's criticized roundly and loudly for it, which is unfortunate.
But doesn't this, Mike, say something about the issue itself and those on the right who are digging in about it?
You know, these last 5 minutes, you know, the president showing the president with the photo op stuff and everything like that, the president is a walking photo op. I mean, every time he comes out of the Rose Garden, I mean, we, the media, are all over him, taking pictures, shouting questions, things like that. So let's put that issue to the side about him going to the border.
And he should go to the border, you think?
Yes, but he's not going to the border. That's fine. Let's put Glen Beck aside. The biggest issue that we've been talking about here, or not talking about here for the past 5 minutes, is we have a humanitarian crisis on the borders of the United States of America, our country. We're capable of handling that crisis, but we're not handling that crisis. Jeremy Peters just indicated, according to his reporting, the two sides are fairly close together, but will probably never come together. What are we? What are we doing?
Look, I think Mike is on to exactly the right point. You know, Obama, Glen Beck, fine, we can talk about all that, but the issue is that we have these children pouring across the border. And the problem, of course, when you get down to the legalities of it, is we passed a law in 2008, virtually unanimously in Congress, to say that children who are victims of various crimes had a right to come to the U.S. and go through a due process and then perhaps stay here, perhaps be sent back. And that's what the law is. And so you have John Boehner suing the president for not obeying the law, and now he's obeying the law.
Right.
And if you want the law changed, you've got to get Congress to do it. So Congress has to come together and decide what they want. Then the question is, well, what do you want? Do you really want to send these children back to a place where the violence is rampant, where their chances of being killed or being abused is very high? Or do you want to take them in effectively as refugees? It's really no different than what's going on in the Middle East in a way. People fleeing from a place where they can't really live to come to a place where they can live. It's very different than the Mexican immigration situation. So I think the reason why Obama is a little bit sort of, and if you watched Jed Johnson on Meet the Press on Sunday where he wouldn't answer the question, they don't really know. They're trying to triangulate through this issue where the Democrats on the left want us to be humanitarians and deal with these children, but the public mood is keep them the hell out of here. And neither Obama nor the Congress have come to terms with what it is exactly they want to do.
Hard to say that about a child, too. I mean, when you see these pictures of these little children, really? You're going to just send them back? You're going to, you know, process them and hold them? And that's what's happening at this point. And the president has, by the way, increased the Border Patrol numbers in large parts, and that they're processing more people.
And the level of the volume of misinformation about this crisis is horrendous. The kids are drug mules. You know, they're going to sink school systems and hospitals and I mean, it's ridiculous.
They're refugees. They're basically refugees.
We have a refugee crisis in America.
But I don't fully understand even the president's plan, the $3.7 billion. I think it does need to be examined to figure out where the money's going to go, how it's going to resolve this.
We've got 3 hours.
Look, the president's plan is to, he would like to change that law so he can deport them. He would deport them more quickly. They don't want to say it terribly forcefully because they have a problem on their left. But I think that's where he's headed, is toward deporting them more quickly. And basically, the money mostly goes for the HHS to take care of these kids while they're here, and DHS to go through the process more quickly and deport them. But you do need changes in the law for all that to happen.
And that you need some sort of agreement to make that happen. Still ahead on Morning Joe, Super Bowl winning quarterback from the Seattle Seahawks, Richard Sherman, joins us with his mom to tell us about his exciting new project. Plus, an American experience abroad, how Amy Poehler's brother turned his immigrant story of culture shock into a television show. Up next, Ray Nagin was elected to clean up New Orleans and then became the face of the city following Hurricane Katrina. But now he's making headlines for all the wrong reasons. But first, let's go to Rafael Miranda with a check on the forecast. Rafael.
Hey, good morning, Mika. Good morning, everyone. In the Northeast here, a nice quiet start to your day. For the most part, some showers and storms offshore. They move through overnight. Now, the good news here in the Northeast, the humidity finally dropping. Take a look at these dew point temperatures, down to 62 now. So the humidity taking a break here in New York City, D.C. and Philadelphia. It's still on the muggy side, and it'll stay that way throughout the day today. Showers and storms possible again. Some of them could be strong to severe. From Philadelphia down towards D.C. later on today, temperatures still in the 80s to around 90 in many spots. Nice place to be today, the Midwest, looking at sunshine. In Chicago, temperatures in the 70s there, below average. It could be stormy in the Rockies later on. Denver, 92 with some storms, and also the Southeast. We're going to be watching out for showers and storms throughout the afternoon, especially Atlanta, 87 degrees. Also dealing with storms in Orlando and Miami. Nice and quiet out west, 79 in Los Angeles, 102 hot and dry in Phoenix. You're watching Morning Joe. We'll be right back.